Go ahead.
Our mission, Helping Parents Heal, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents. Through support and resources offered, we aspire to help individuals become shining light parents, meaning a shift from a state of emotional heaviness to one of hopefulness and greater peace of mind. Helping Parents Heal goes a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and afterlife evidence in a non-dogmatic way. Helping Parents Heal affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background, and encourage open dialogue. Attendance at all Helping Parents Heal meetings is voluntary. All discussions that take place at affiliate-led meetings are confidential. We hope that participants will learn from and share with each other. Zoom meetings run by leadership are not confidential. These meetings typically feature guest presenters and are posted on YouTube so that affiliate members worldwide can watch and benefit. Neither type of Helping Parents Heal meeting is designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers, allowing parents to learn about many possible ways to heal. This includes presenters covering progressive topics such as afterlife evidence and connecting with our children who have passed. The views expressed by our guest speakers may or may not reflect the opinions of Helping Parents Heal leaders and members, so we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally. Welcome, everyone. We're so glad you're here with us this evening, and thank you, Jennifer, for being here.
We are thrilled that Jennifer is here, and I'm going to read a very short bio that talks about past but present. And then I'm also going to just play the trailer so that you guys can see a little bit about it if you're unaware of past but present. Jennifer Brazier is an evidential medium. For years, she has been a conduit who shares messages from the world unseen with those of us who still walk the earth. In addition to sharing healing messages, teaching others to receive messages of their own, and assisting police and rescue groups with locating missing people, Jennifer has always loved to explore various locations to touch the soil of our ancestors and experience how those who came before us lived. In past but present, she uses her highly attuned senses to communicate the stories of real people by giving those in the unseen world the opportunity to have a voice once again and inviting them to share their stories with her. To learn more about past but present, you can visit this website. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste it. And then before I introduce Jennifer, I'm going to try to share my screen and hopefully this will work. Here we go. So I'm playing the trailer for all of you.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome where we're at.
Jennifer Brazier is an evidential medium.
Yeah, we got all sorts of havoc going on in this alley back in here.
For years, she has been a conduit who shares messages from the unseen world with those of us who still walk this earth.
This is where the struggle takes place, right in this area.
She uses her highly attuned senses to communicate the stories of real people by giving those in the unseen world the opportunity to have a voice once again and inviting them to share their stories with her.
Past this area right here to around the corner. Wow. People die here. And I mean, they're dying on site from the working conditions. Wherever we're at, I am electric. I'm going to start to cry. I feel very emotional where I'm at. I'd call it almost a sacred place.
So I'm stopping the share, and I just want to let you know also that Jennifer is going to be with us at our next conference. We're very excited about that. She's obviously a She's been certified by Mark Ireland, and she's been working with us for quite some time. And without further ado, let me introduce you to Jennifer Brazier. And if you would like, I will ask you a question to start out. But if not, maybe you could just tell us a little bit about this series and how it came about.
I would love to. First off, you guys, happy holidays. I know that it's a busy week, a couple days, a couple hours after a big holiday. We're coming into a new year. Thank you for taking time out of your day. Maybe spending it with us is going to give you that little nudge that you need for us all to get into the new year, to have wonderful things take place. So I'm very grateful. I'm very appreciative to be here. I also have to say that on my screen, I don't know, there may be 20, 30 little heads that I see of all of you. And I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see that well. But oh my gosh, there's so many of you that I recognize. So I'm just thrilled that you're here. So thank you guys and happy holidays. So Elizabeth, you asked me, how did this series come to be? And you guys, it's very organic in the sense that it was about 3 years ago, right at the beginning of COVID. I had attended a conference called We Don't Die, and I was a presenter there. And at that conference, I ended up meeting a couple of ladies, which are mothers of Helping Parents Heal. And that is Stephanie Kennedy, or Bebe Kennedy, and also Lisa Lulinowski. Lisa, if I screwed up your name, girl, I am so sorry. And I know I'll hear about it. But these two ladies shared their story of losing their children and started sharing a little bit about helping parents heal. So I had such a connection with both of these ladies that we ended up planning a trip that we just got together and had a girls' weekend. Well, fast forward, we have our girls' weekend, and it was so much fun that we decided to have another girls' weekend as soon as possible. And so we got together knowing that there was a gentleman by the name of Robert Lyons, and he is a producer, he's a camera person, he's all over the place, creative master. And so Robert needed to interview us three for a film that he was working on called Rinaldi. And if any of you have ever or haven't watched the docu-series Rinaldi, it's an hour and it's fabulous. Sonia Rinaldi works with the unseen world, bringing pictures and sounds and voices of your children. So just, if you don't know of her, write her name down, Google her, phenomenal lady. So Robert was coming down to interview us three because we had all had experiences with Sonia and her work. So I'm going to fast forward here so I don't bore everybody. But so us four are together, Bebe, Lisa, Robert, and myself. And so we were just having lunch and just really enjoying ourselves after his filming. And so the girls went in to go make lunch. And so I looked at Robert and said, do you want a reading? Out of the blue, I said that. So he said, sure. So we went outside. We're in Florida. It was a beautiful day. We were on a lake, and there was this beautiful area that went out, kind of sloped down to the lake. And so I walked in front of him. And as I was walking, I had an experience that I've had this happen since. And if you've already watched Past But Present, you'll see it happen again to me in the episode in Casadega in Florida. But Robert and I are walking, and as I walked, I almost felt like I walked into a quiet place, and then it got loud again. And now I understand that it's energy that I'm walking into. But also, and you guys, I'm not an expert on this, but I don't know if it's a vortex or there's a movement and time, I don't know. But as soon as this happened, I knew immediately that I was probably about 800 years in the past with a group of individuals that I knew were Indians. And so I started sharing this with him. Well, he's a camera person. He goes, Jennifer, stop. I want to film this. So that's how it starts. Now, there is a lot of backstory to this, but I really want to focus on it's kind of how I met Robert and Lisa and Bebe. But ultimately, what has taken place that's brought us now 2.5 years later is that there are 6 episodes that we went to different places and filmed. Now, that's kind of the overarching piece of it, but I kind of want to share a little bit how this happens. I have no idea where I'm going. So one of the girls, either Bebe or Lisa, would get a hold of my husband and say, we're going to bring her to Colorado, and we're going to take her 3 hours here or there. So my husband knew all of the logistics. And so I would get my plane ticket, I would be greeted there, they would pick me up. And then as soon as I'm leaving, the airport, whatever direction, I either wear a mask or I would put a hoodie over me and sometimes I'm tired, so I just kind of rest. But anyway, they would bring me to a location. Typically we stayed in Airbnbs or hotels, and they would bring me to locations that in the very first and second episode, they had done research and knew where I was going. But quickly, the spirit world, our loved ones knew it was going to be best for us by giving me information before we get to a location going, we need to stop here and we need to go into this certain area, that there's someone here that wants to talk to us. It was loving, it was light, it was exciting, it was filled with laughter, and the most beautiful essence of like getting a hug or laughter. And if you do take the time to watch this, you guys, I do cry a lot. And no, I don't have a special makeup person. Nobody's doing my hair. I look like I just got out of bed. I look like I do every day, except for today I did kind of curl myself up. But you're going to see all me, all 4 corners of me. But the biggest piece of this is that it starts out with this team feeling that we should be scripted on what all of us need to hear. And ultimately, the spirit world took my hands and said, no, 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 this is not going to be scripted. This is going to be offered in a way that even those that don't believe in the afterlife are going to be able to understand that there's something bigger and better. So all the information that I receive is verified or validated, or we have somebody come in to say, yes, this did happen. Or if we didn't know, we have to go and invest into figuring out. We went to museums and libraries. Lisa and Bebe spent a lot of time investigating a lot of the things that I would toss out there. Robert did a phenomenal job putting together some beautiful, beautiful scenery of the locations we're in. But I just wanted to put that out there there is 6 episodes. And if you watch from the very first one to the very last one, you will see that I've changed. And before I got on, I was talking to Irene and Elizabeth asked me that. And I'm going to get emotional. I'm going to start bawling. I'm a very sensitive lady, girl, kid. But wow, the spirit world, when we open our hearts and our minds and our hands to them, they will hold on to us. Your kids are going to ensure that they tightly have you and to pull you forward to be what is best for you. You may think that it needs to be a certain way, it's on a certain schedule, and you're going to heal and you're going to go through certain things at certain times. It doesn't happen that way. And honestly, that's the beauty of why we're here in this physical world, is to learn, to live, to love, and also how to understand that there's so much more than our everyday of waking up at a certain time, having a certain coffee, going to bed at a certain time. As all of you know, you have had life-altering situations with losing children. Please know that, and I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but all you need to do is talk to them. They hear you. Talk to them in your mind. You don't need to talk out loud. They hear you. They hear you. And ask them, please, pull me forward. Let me know what I need to know today. How can I best honor your memory? What do I need? You will receive it in the most beautiful ways if you're open to that, the signs. So with that, I would just, if maybe Elizabeth or Irene, or if anybody has a question, I would love to kind of talk a little bit more.
I
As you can
just want
tell,
to say that in all of these episodes, he frequently would say that this is a place that I can feel that people passed. And each time he would say, I feel that they are passing because they're so joyful as they're passing. I can tell that there's, for instance, you were saying that this is a place that people were healing or recuperating, but you could also feel that they were also passing because you could feel the feeling of them as they crossed over, which was really beautiful. And so I think that that was one thing that stood out to me, was that you were expressing the fact that obviously we all know that everyone who passes is so much happier than we are here, obviously. They are happy, healthy, and whole. And they did explain how they were transitioning to you as well, which was very hard in some cases to be able to see you suffering from these different ways that they were passing. But I guess that that was for you to understand, um, and for you to identify who these people were. Would you say that that's correct?
absolutely. They're giving evidence, or they're giving the details or the facts. It doesn't necessarily, I have to tell you guys, it doesn't hurt me, but as you can already tell, I'm a very emotional person, and sometimes I can't find the right word. And the only word I can find is to cry. And sometimes those tears are not sad. And I know that all of you have probably had that with your own experience talking about your child. It's like you just can't put it into words. But yes, Elizabeth, many of the places or spaces that I was brought to, I could feel and sense that I was in a different place, a different era, a different time. Now, it it's all within my mind. It's not outside of me. You may see me looking around. It's more because I'm really trying to grasp what's going on so I can honor them correctly.
Nice. I'd love to ask you, Jennifer, how was it different? So when you were in Colorado, and I won't give a lot of it away for people that didn't see it, and you were at a place where you knew a tragedy occurred, and then when you were at Casadega, and maybe you can explain if people don't know what and where Casadega is, how was it different? How did it feel different being in a spiritual place?
So there is, I'm going to go back to, let's just go to like the first episode or the second episode, and they're bringing me to places that they know there's history.
Mhm.
And I can feel and smell like I'm being pulled there. And the best way I can say to you guys, have you ever been in a busy grocery store? And as you walk in and you're grabbing your cart or whatever, and you're like trying to navigate your way down the aisle, and people are all in your way. And you're like, okay, you have to get out of my way. And then some people will move, and you can kind of hear their conversations as you're moving, or you may even see into their cart to see what they're buying. You may smell perfume. That's kind of what's happening to me in the places that I was brought, originally in Colorado. That's such a great question, Irene, that it felt very like 1, 2, 3 for me. Like, okay, here you are. This is what's going on. There's this huge story that's coming out of this. When I went to Casadega, also in St. Augustine, I really didn't know anything about these places. Casadega is a spiritualist community that they have gosh, it's probably like 4 or 5 blocks big. And if anybody's ever been there, it's kind of like the Disneyland for any of us that like mediumship. It's really cool. And I was brought there, and I hadn't been there before. And so when I got out of the vehicle of the place I was at, I have to tell you that I felt rushed, almost like I couldn't catch my breath. but the excitement was so, I didn't know how to explain it. I cry. I cry to the place, to the point that I'm like, please stop the camera. I've got to get myself together here. But Casadega is magical, magical. Also, there's a place in New York. Oh gosh, I'm going to go blank on the name. I know somebody's going to know that.
Lilydale.
Thank you. Haven't been there yet. But yes, beautiful places that there's a lot of spiritualism there and a lot of individuals that do the work that I do. A lot of healing going on there.
Thank you.
And so in Casadega, obviously, I know I don't want to give too much away, but you have such a rush of emotions, and you talked about, or actually the producer did, about energy vortexes. So I know you've been to Sedona. Could you tell us a little bit about how it's different from Sedona and the vortexes that are there?
Wow. That is a great question. I've never even thought of that. Yes, I have been to Sedona. I've been there one time and I went hiking there. And it is a completely different feeling for, at least for me. Maybe for all of you, it may be the same. But for someone like me that I'm intentionally tapping in, I'm opening up my abilities and I'm asking the spirit world to communicate with me. I literally ask them, take my hands, lead me. And then I'll always ask, what's your name? Just because I'm nosy. And then it allows everything to kind of unfold. In Sedona, it was more, I have to say, more universal. It's almost like more out in the stars, I was more out there. When Casadega, it was so visual. I was greeted by these kids, little kids, little tiny girls, little tiny guys, and then I could see them growing up. They weren't growing up in front of me, but all different ages were showing up. And I just was overwhelmed that they were doing this for me. And is it for me? I'm a voice for them now. And it's the same thing with your kids. It's like when they have an opportunity for someone to listen to them, listen to them and not go, am I making this up? Or is this real or not real? Trust me. I shouldn't say trust me, but believe in yourself that they are with you and they are leading you to become happier and whole.
It's beautiful. And yes, I thought that it was very interesting, the difference between the different places that you went where there was a lot of tragedy, and then different places where you just felt pure joy. And it was so evident, the differences in you physically. But I also think it's so interesting that you don't see them, that you explained in the series that you smell, you feel, you hear, but you don't see the physical people in front of you. Is that correct? Is that
So yes, Elizabeth, I do have all of my senses become alive. And with my abilities, they layer on each other. So I may smell her perfume first and then feel her hair against me. And then I may see her long legs or see his tattoo. So it kind of just layers with me. But when there is a tragedy, let's just say like a war, it's very heavy. The energy is dense and heavy, and I get exhausted and I'm tired and I get cranky and I get rude. I need to sleep more than necessary, and everything is just depleted out of me. But when I'm somewhere that is light and happy, and I feel very jubilant myself. So yes, the energy is very palpable, if that's the right word.
well, I'm asking that because when we went to Philatosa soon after Morgan transitioned, both of my daughters' intuition was just elevated to a level that was almost incredible. And Alix, who never wanted to let anyone know about this, when we were in this village that was prehistoric, she could look into the little homes that they had created and see people walking around and cooking. And she'd say, Mom, they don't want us here. Because people would be walking into the places and looking at the walls and things. And she'd say, Mom, they really, they don't feel like it doesn't feel right to do that because this is their place. And it's interesting because obviously I think that all of these people were waiting for you and wanting to tell their stories. Filatosa wasn't a violent place at all. It was just a beautiful place where these prehistoric people lived, and maybe they were less interested in having people tell about this, and she wasn't doing it for a television series either. But I just think it's so, and she sees them physically. I mean, she sees the people, she sees them walking around, she sees them, and it was hard for her, but I think it's so fascinating that for you, you were able to find a lot of people that were very excited to speak to you, not only here, you know, on the other side, but also here, who are helping you to understand a little bit better. And I also wanted to just ask you again, if the people who were taking you on these tours and listening to what you were saying, if you feel that they believe in all of this, or if they did after hearing all of your evidence that you were giving them.
That is such a great question because absolutely, it didn't just change me or change the individuals that were working with me on this. You guys, it started out as just, you know what, it's going to be an adventure. You know what, we put our own money into it. We had to pay for our own stuff. This isn't like anybody gave us money to go do this. So it's going to be done on a shoestring and, you know, a piece of cheese. But that kind of stuff is the fun stuff because I wasn't trying to do anything that somebody wanted me to do. I mean, I'm going to be exactly who Jennifer is. And it's the same thing with the crew. As soon as they realized they didn't have to create something, that the spirit world was going to be here to ensure we got what we needed. And you had mentioned about your daughter being able to see them walking around. You know, all of us, I believe every one of us has an ability. But we have to really invest into it. And part of that is working on your psychic faculties or your intuition. But without me going into all of that, I want to kind of focus still on the film itself, is that it really just started out with a group of friends that we just were going to have fun. And we were lucky enough to have somebody that has won, I think, 8 awards for his movies. And I don't know what they're called, you guys. I feel bad now, and he would correct me. Academy Awards or Emmy Awards. Oh, geez, I feel horrible. You can tell I'm very simple here. But he just has a way of bringing it alive. I may host it and give a voice to it all, but you guys, our loved ones, our ancestors, they want their legacy to be told, and to be told on an authentic level. They don't need to have the Hollywood woohoo. And one of the things I want to just kind of drop in here, and then I'll take a couple questions here, is I'm pretty steadfast on this, and some of you may want to disagree with me, and that's fine. But I don't believe I've been doing this for 20 something years. I have never, ever, ever had someone in the spirit world come and say, I've been stuck here. I don't know how to find my way back home, or I'm scared, or I'm lonely. Never. Nobody gets stuck getting born. None of us get stuck going home. And also, no matter how we leave this world, there's not torment. We are immediately in a place of understanding. And that's exactly what the spirit world, no matter if it was the Spanish in St. Augustine, or those on the rafting trip, or the children in Casadega. It's telling our story. And I feel very fortunate that I guess I'm a storyteller now that I just kind of titled myself.
And you are. And there are some really great questions.
Okay.
Renata has asked two questions that I think are both really important. Um, she says, Dear Jennifer, have you had any of the people in spirit trying to send a message to their loved ones on Earth?
Yes, every single person that I make contact with has a message. And some of these that I've made contact with, they've been gone for 100 years, couple 100 years, but they will then tell their story, their legacy. If there are individuals that have passed and their loved ones are still here, the team that works with me, they do their due diligence to find the family so that I can do a one-on-one for them. And no, I do not charge. We do not charge for any of that. So answering your question, yes. And yes, I have reached out to family, and it's very uncomfortable to go, can I tell you what happened? And some people are very open, and a lot of people are like, I'm not ready for this. So we honor that. We want to do no harm to anybody.
That's beautiful. And hopefully, as we move forward, they will be ready to hear the messages that they're getting because they're all beautiful. They're all helpful and healing. And she's also asking, have you had a less than positive experience while filming the movie?
So I'm not sure, do you mean with the spirit world?
I
Or do
think
you mean with somebody in the physical world?
I think with the spirit world, I think that that's what she's talking about, but that's in
Um,
the physical world, that's a possibility.
You know, that's a great question. I have not had any issues with the spirit world. They're very inviting. There is an episode that I'm in New Orleans and I'm being brought to a plantation. And without ruining that story, there is a lot of horrific things that happen at this plantation. But the stories are told in a way that are uplifting. And I'm understanding the history that was created from it. However, I am taken to a place in New Orleans that as soon as I get there, I tell the producer, Robert, I go, we got to leave. And he's like, well, what's going on? I go, we got to leave. And it was like I was being protected. They're like, get back into the car. I don't know if there was somebody in the location that I was at that it would have been horrible for me, or if there was going to be some sort of issue that was going to come out of it. But I felt nauseous. I felt drugged. I felt overwhelmed. And when that happens, I know, stop, get away, go. So that did happen one time to me on this series.
That's interesting. So maybe it was someone in the physical world who was going to be a danger to you, and you were being forewarned by someone in the spirit world that this wasn't a good place for you to stay. So that's very interesting. We have a question from a newer member, and I would love for you to just kind of address it and tell her how to do this. She is asking her son every day to give her a sign. This is Marina, to talk to her, but she hasn't had any signs from him in 4 months. She's asking what she can do to make it happen. Do you have any advice for Marina to help that move forward and for her to be able to be in contact with her son?
Absolutely. Marina, thank you. That's a great question. And I know that knowing that your son is out there and that he is connecting with you and communicating with you is going to allow you to exhale a little bit and start to heal. My suggestion that has worked for me and has worked for others is, instead of asking for a sign, tell them I'm ready. Instead of demanding something or going, why are you not doing this? Turn the other way and say, I'm ready to experience this, or show me what's best for me, or put in front of me who can help me heal. That is where the magic of what they can do to help you. So Marina, try some of that and just be open to saying, I'm ready to understand a little bit more of what I need to know. And your son will give you probably numerous signs that you're going to go, oh my gosh, this is what it was. It's that easy. Can I also suggest to keep a journal? And I know many of you probably have kept a journal of things that happen. And a year from now, you may look back and go, well, every time I walked into the room, this song came on, but I just figured it was because of whatever. Realize that little things like that is how they're trying to get your attention. So that may be a sign, the lyrics in a song. So just a couple ideas there. I hope that helped, Marina.
Yes, I think that they're perfect. And I want to know a little bit more about what you guys are planning for the future. So you've done these 6 episodes. Are you planning to do a second season, or is this the one season that you're doing? Do you have any plans on the table right now for doing more?
So what is happening, or what has already happened, is yes, we've already started filming season 2. It's already in the works, but also there is a second product that's coming out of this, and it's my passion. It is my absolute core level soul driven purpose, is focusing on those that have gone missing. And what I'm talking about here is not somebody that's run away or that they walked away and they don't want anyone to find them. This is when our children, our family, our loved ones go missing, and the police, the law enforcement, they're at dead ends. We don't know what's going on. So I've devoted my abilities, my understanding and honing my abilities in the last year and a half to being tutored and to working with groups on how to work specifically with helping get information or details and closure for the families. So we have started a film. It's going to be called Chasing the Truth. And just more to come out of that. I'm just going to leave it at that. But I'm very excited about, like I said, it's absolutely a passion for me.
It's
So
wonderful. And I want to just go back to the series. You talked a lot about psychometry and about being able to, well, I'd like for you to explain to people who might not know what psychometry is, how you use this in the series to be able to find out about all of these different places.
So I wish I could have all of you in a big room right now, because I'd say, raise your hand if you know what psychometry is. But for the sake of that, psychometry is feeling the energy of, it could be a particular item, it could be a particular space, or it could be land, dirt. It is feeling the energy. So, and let me just kind of step back. It's interpreting the energy. So somebody that works as a medium, what we do is everything is energetic that we receive. We have just learned how to interpret that energy by using our senses so that we can see it, hear it, smell it, taste it. So using psychometry, it's a psychic or an intuitive tool. So it's just simply holding, I mean, this is very basic, but holding something, maybe it's going to be your best friend or a neighbor's watch. And if if there's been 10 different people that have wore the watch, then you're going to get probably 10 different sorts of situations with this. But if somebody has just had that watch themselves, you'll start to feel the energy by holding it in. I hold it in my non-dominant hand. And I just take a deep breath in. And as I do that, I ask, give me what I need to know. What do I need to know about this? And so I typically, my smell is very strong. I start to smell, or I may become aware of the time frame or the emotions. And so psychometry is used a lot in missing persons cases. But it's also, I use it a lot in the past but present when I go on a hike one day. And as I'm hiking, I just allowed myself to go into the space of walking up this hill. I couldn't catch my breath. I couldn't understand why I couldn't get my breath. And as soon as I did that, I realized I was using psychometry to go back, 150 years and to connect into, these individuals that have walked on these rocks up this hill. So psychometry, once again, is energy. And I'll leave you with this. Have any of you went into your bathroom or been into a steamy room or on your window in your car and you maybe just drew a heart? And then the next day or a week later, you look and you can see the residue of that heart you drew? Psychometry is feeling the residue of the energy of the situation or the person. So that's what I interpret as the residue.
That's beautiful. I wanted to also ask you about your journey as a medium because it's a little different than a lot of other mediums that we've encountered. So maybe you could just tell about how you've developed your abilities and how this came about.
Well, isn't that going to be like a 10-hour show? But I'll make it 60 seconds, you guys. I guess I was born this way. I have not had any sort of horrific event take place or any sort of situation I can go back to it. I've always had a sense of knowing. And when I was in my teenage years, I would know things about my girlfriends, what they were doing, if they were lying or cheating or stealing or what's going on. And so I just felt I needed to tell them. And so I lost a lot of friends quite right away on that. I thought everybody had this sense of knowing, and that's the word I'm going to use. It's just I know things, and I can't tell you how I know them. I really repressed a lot of this in my late teens, my 20s, and in my 30s, it just got to a place that I wanted more. I wanted to understand more of what was happening to me. So I kind of went on a personal spiritual journey and started reading books. And I found people that I really liked their style. I really was impressed by their journey and how they made something positive of it. And I would seek them out. I would ask if they were, tutoring or mentoring or classes. So that's what I did. I also had the opportunity. I worked for Nordstrom. It's a retail company. I worked there for nearly 30 years as an investigator. So I have this, I want to know more. I'm curious. I want to do the right, I want to do the right thing. And as I developed my mediumship and understood really what was taking hold of me, I thought, oh my gosh, what if I can help people with this? And I know you're going to go, are you kidding me? You said that to yourself? No, I really did. It's like, if I can help people, why am I not going to do this? So it brings my heart joy. And that's kind of probably the simple word, is that when I'm able to connect with your child, your loved one, your family member, your animal, and you're able to understand that they're all right. I mean, I cry with you, I laugh with you, I probably will cuss with you too, but it is really finding your passion and your purpose and following it. And when I realized that I could do something good out of this versus telling people you shouldn't do that, or you shouldn't date him, or you shouldn't do, who am I to say that to anybody? So I feel blessed. I really have a blessed life, friends, family, very supportive.
That's wonderful. And it's true. I just want to repeat what you said, not just our loved ones in spirit, but our animals in spirit. They are the same place that our loved ones are. And I don't think that we can say that enough. They are all up, or they're all in on the other side with our loved ones. Patty asked a very interesting question right after, and when I interrupted, unfortunately, and talked about your abilities, but she asked about psychometry. Does it work if the person is still here on Earth? So is it something
Oh,
that, okay.
yes, 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 yes. Oh, yes. Psychometry, here is just a simple thing for all of you to try out. Is say you need to find a new place to get your hair done, or you're going to go to a new dentist or a new doctor, or you're going to a realtor and you don't know. If you can get a hold of their business card, that's a win. But maybe you can't because you're not in the area. You can also go online and you're able to, maybe you pull up their website. And as you pull it up, the first thing that I would ask you is, how does it make you feel? Are you excited? Like, oh, I want to know more about this. Then I want you to keep doing more. And keep going and keep going and allow the emotion and the feeling. Find out where in your body you feel this. And then go a little deeper and go, what is this? It's that investigator piece. Now, if you're able to hold someone's, say, their wedding ring, that's where you would say, tell me about you. Tell me about your personality. Tell me, what do you like? What do people call you? Give me a funny memory. Those are the questions I ask while I'm holding something or I'm standing somewhere. I'll say, keep telling me more. It's the same thing I do if I've ever given any of you a reading or if you watch me work. I'm constantly talking to them in my head, like, okay, tell me more. And so if somebody's alive, you can still tap into that energy. It's that residue of them holding on to it. So you can save yourself a lot of, maybe time of asking your friends of like, okay, can you tell me where's the best place to get my hair cut? Well, why don't you go online and go, okay, I'm really drawn to this. Trust yourself. Trust. And ask your kids, go, put in front of me what's going to be best for me. I'm ready for a change. See what happens.
Nice. Jennifer, I'd like to ask you, a couple people have asked, is the only way to watch the series online? Will it be available on a streaming platform?
Thank you. That's a great question. So right now you need to go to Past But Present, and that's past, PASSED, or www.pastbutpresent.com. And it'll bring you'll come to our website, but then you click on that and it brings you to the streaming platform.
Okay.
So right now, that's how you're able to get it. But it's also going to be available on Amazon soon. And I don't know what soon means because soon has been coming for a while and and I've been patient, so I don't know. But yes, it's available on those resources. You can either purchase it or you can rent it. So, and let's see, I think the purchase is, I think to buy the series, it's $19.99, and to rent the series, it's $10.99. So, and if you
Very
do rent
affordable.
it or you buy it and you've got feedback, I would love to hear it. You can get a hold of me at Jennifer at Past But Present, or you can get a hold of me on my website, which is my name, Jennifer Brazier. So either of those, anybody, you can get a hold of me. And I'm hoping, and I know I didn't say this when Elizabeth asked me, but I'm really hoping that we will open it up to individuals that know that they've got, and I'm using air quotes, history. And you would reach out to our producer, Robert Lyon, and say, hey, I live in this town or this city, and it'd be great if you considered this location. They'll do the behind the scene on that, but I know that that is something that he is going to probably push out there, and it would be available on Past But Present. If any of you have a location that you would recommend that I come to your town, city, or back door.
Well, one thing that I just want to say about the series is that it was really wonderful that there was never anything in the series that would ever make anyone doubt that our loved ones on the other side are happy, healthy, and whole, and that they are obviously just wanting us to understand that they are that way, maybe knowing a little bit more about the situation in which they lived, which is very interesting as well, and their history, and knowing also about things that have happened in different areas, different power plays that happened, which I think that you were frequently finding that one certain individual or one group of individuals were obligated to leave and then a new group came in, but they were basically just telling you their stories, which was fascinating. So anyway, that was something that I really liked seeing in this series. And So you're more working on this new movie than doing a second.
Doing them both.
You're doing.
We're working on them both right now. In fact, I'll be in Miami the 27th and 28th of January. I'm doing a workshop down there. It's called The Gathering Miami. So if anybody's interested, if you're in the Miami area, thegatheringmiami.com. Not that I'm trying to push that, but you guys, you'd be able to understand more about your own physical abilities and also your mediumship abilities. I'm working with two other individuals, a gal from Scotland named Carrie McLeod and her husband, Philip Dyke, and he's from, I think, Wales. I could be wrong. I'm sure they'll correct me. But Robert will be the one that will bringing it all together. So his creative forces. There's one thing before we leave, it's just, I mean, literally, I feel like somebody's telling me this. So if you don't mind, I just want to kind of push this forward, is that the work that mediums do, and I'm going to speak for myself here, is that the Hollywood world has created the hauntings or paranormal or these scary, like, woo, don't you love this, my own sound effects there? But in all the locations I've been to, there is nothing haunted. I mean, I could scare myself by tripping over my own foot and thinking something's going on. But really, your loved ones they are in a place that they are now trying to lead us to live a happy life. However, was somebody cranky and angry and lived a horrible life while they were here and they caused all sorts of grief and loss, they're being dealt with also on the other side. Are they coming back to haunt us? I disagree. I don't think they are. It's being handled in a way that is far beyond my understanding. So I just wanted to bring that up because people will say, oh, that house has to be haunted. And I'm like, oh, it's not haunted. You have two little girls that passed here and they just want to let you know how happy they are. So
That's beautiful. And it's true. I mean, I think that obviously some people, when they pass, need a time of spiritual healing before they're
yes.
able to finally interact and deal with the place that they are and the people that they are with in a normal way, but they are still cocooned and they're surrounded by love and they're never ever unhappy. It's just that they are healing. So anyway, I am so excited to have been able to talk about this series with you. And
Thank you.
I think that now people know where to find it, which is wonderful. And we also, I'm just making sure that we haven't missed any questions. I know that, yes, you can stream it, or you can find it at the website that we've posted in the chat box. I'll be posting that with this video as well. And I just want to maybe see if you could sum it up by telling us how you've changed since you did that first series.
I'm exhaling because you guys, I don't know if I can give words for this because I started out going, I'm on a journey with some friends and we're just going to go have fun. And we're going to go to some places and I'm going to see if my mediumship is able to pick up any information and we'll get together and have a nice dinner and have some laughs and it'll be fun. Well, it really happened like that for about probably the first 48 hours of the trip. And then I sensed that the spirit world started working with me different. They started to show up kind of to prepare me of what was going on. Honestly, I have to tell you that I thought they wanted me to go to graveyards. And I'm like, well, I should go to graveyards because I think they want me to meet people at the graveyards, not that the people were living there. So we went to a couple graveyards and I was like, this is not what we're supposed to be doing. So probably the next 24, 48 hours, it's like, you guys, let's just get in the car. Make sure you have a full belly, an empty bladder, and let's let the spirit world bring us. Instead of us telling them what we want, let's let them show us what we need. And it's the same thing working with your kids. Sometimes we so want them to tell us something. And in reality, they're like, this is the time that you need to be silent. This is the time that you are going to be learning about boundaries. This is the time that you're learning about whatever it is. Trust the fact that they are guiding you, they're nudging you, and they are with you. Trust. So the last episode that we were all together and Robert asked me a question, which I answered, and I did start crying. He's like, so everything's just different now. And I said, it's not different, it's better. It's better. And is it because I have the knowledge? Or is it because I'm starting to trust that there's something that is pulling me? And I use the word pulling, you guys. They're not physically grabbing me and making me go somewhere. It's just this sense of knowing that there's joy and happiness, and that the society that has been created for, and I'm going to talk about myself here, is I don't need to listen to TV and listen to all the crime or what's going on. I don't need that. But I do need to know that my loved ones are okay and that I'm doing good by them. And what memories do they want me to celebrate for them? How can I do that? So we are responsible for our own healing. We're responsible for our own joy. But as we do that and we're on that journey, it's so important that we lean on other people that have already walked that path to realize that we do survive this, we do heal, and that we are together as a family and a community. We can't do this alone. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day, your holiday. Oh, I got goosebumps.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
I'm going to be in August. I'll be at the conference. So please come up and shake my hand. Give me a hug. If I look at you cross-eyed and go, okay, just keep talking to me. I'd love to meet
don't
you.
look at anybody cross-eyed. I just am so excited about having you there. And you are exactly right. This is a journey that we can't do by ourselves. We have to be together with people that we love. And I feel so grateful at the end of this very difficult year for many of us, difficult for me as well, difficult for so many of us, to be with all of you and to express how grateful I am, and I know Irene is as well, to have been with us this year and all of the years that we've been together. So now it's been 14 years for me, actually longer than that for Chelsea as well, for my daughter, but 14 years for Helping Parents Heal. And again, we are so grateful and we're very, very excited about this amazing conference that's going to be happening in August. And
Yes.
thank you
We're
all.
so fortunate to be on this sacred journey together.
Oh,
And yes, and thank you for telling us about this series. This is going to be a lot of fun for a lot of people to watch. And again, I think that you'll learn a lot about history as well from hearing what Jennifer has to say. And have a wonderful evening. We always ask everyone to unmute and say thank you and good evening. If you'd like to do so, please do.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Wishing
you.
everyone a
Thank
peaceful
you.
new
Thank
year.
Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
New
Thank
Year.
you.
Everybody choose
Thank you so much.
Happy New Year to everyone. We will
Happy
be
New Year.
Peaceful.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a wonderful rest of the evening. Bye, everyone. See you.
Bye-bye.